Yanked it out. So what kind of chassis have you got underneath it?
It's got an SR3 chassis under it.
Okay.
It basically is a relatively stock body with a lot of little tweaks here and there, but it is an original 62 car.
It is.
It is.
Well, one of the modern tweaks that I saw thought were super cool is the C7 Corvette door handles.
Yeah.
Yes.
And believe it or not, those handles are unbelievably complex for thinking that it's button squeeze.
Yeah, it's just an actuator, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially an actuator that runs it, but the switch itself has like 11 wires going to it. So I'm trying to figure out, they got this thing going through the body control module and everything else, and it's like, I'm like, there's no way I'm going to figure out how they made this thing work. So I just sat there for about an hour playing with wires, and finally I got the thing to trigger. So of course then once I found the trigger, all I had to do is run it to a relay, and then, you know, I could run 12 volts. But it was all 5-volt reference. I mean, it was a challenge. It's something as simple as making the piece fit the car, I thought was going to be the hard part. And then I was like, oh man, what are all these wires for, you know? But we got it to work, and they turned out really cool. It's a nice, neat, modern twist on the car.
Looks like you've got a Stinger hood.
But yeah, that's kind of a modified version of the Stinger hood. It's a little taller and got a few more cooling louvers in it, but we wanted to be able to clear that big motor in there, so using an original hood, we cut it up and made it look like a Stinger hood.
And you took the T. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Oh, I was surprised to see a big block in there.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
598.
The owner said, you know, his goal was he wanted 1,000 horse, and he's an older guy, all about the cubic inches. So
what's it put out?
1,048.
At the wheel, at the crank.
At the crank.
1,048 horsepower. It's like every car nowadays. It's normal to have 4 figures.
Isn't it crazy?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, if you don't have 1,000, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna leave.
Exactly. That's it. Yeah.
And that's just in the last like 4 or 5 years too. That's become a phenomenon. I mean,
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
amazing.
Well, the LS motors have made that much easier, you know, with the boost and everything.
Right.
But to get it out of a big cubic inch motor is much more difficult than the LS motors and stuff.
Yeah, because you got a big block in there.
Yes.
598 big block.
And then we made it a full-time roadster. So I got rid of all the other glass and the convertible top assembly. So inside where the top is all audio equipment now. So it's got a full Sony audio system in it.
And the doors, since there's no windows, are kind of hollowed out, aren't
Yeah, so if you look at the door panels, it's very three-dimensional. It actually kicks back into the door much further because obviously I don't have a window in there. So then behind that, I actually put a ring of LEDs. So at night, I use the same grill that's in the car in the door panel, so it lights up three-dimensionally in there.
So you took the teeth out.
Yes.
Stock Corvette teeth are out. You added the grill, so you got the matching grill in there. So is it sort of like the new Camaros, where you can set the mood lighting any color you want? Or
No, not quite that fancy.
Okay, well, it's pretty fancy.
On the front bumpers, it's kind of a cool little trick. I use the little Chevy bow tie projectors and shoot them down onto the top of the bumper.
That's awesome. I'll show you a picture on my camera later. It is super cool. Yeah, the bow tie. So tell me about the bumpers.
The bumpers are actually the original bumpers, just heavily modified, tucked into the body and kind of, Frenched in, so to say. And everything is actually the original pieces, just completely smooth. And then we did a hyper silver paint with a satin clear on them to give them more. They almost look like plastic.
That's what hyper silver.
Yeah.
They look like anodized.
Yeah, and the trick to that was, the first time I sprayed them, I actually used like a regular silver metallic, but I didn't like it was very granular. Where this is actually a paint from Pro Spray that's actually called extra fine aluminum is actually the name of the color, and it doesn't have that typical silver metallic grain in it, so it makes it